Consequences prevent dictators, and how you can help. If you want to prevent future dictators, I'm not talking about the 3-year-old you have. I'm talking about the 7-year-old, the 16-year-old, the 25-year-old, the 45-year-old person that might be in your life, strangers, or those under your charge. Consequences help prevent people from becoming assholes. If you don't know this already, you might be an enabler or codependent, or somebody who's scared to say no to people, or somebody who lets people skid by disrespecting them. Now, mind you, I used to be this person. I used to be very soft. I'm not anti-soft. Soft is its place. There's places like on my couch, in my bed, in a bed with somebody else, perhaps. Those are places where softness is wonderful. But taking care of yourself, your personhood, and the people around you, especially those that are vulnerable, consequences matter. The consequences matter on numerous occasions, not just for the fall of the current empire that we might be experiencing. We're in the beginning stages. I hope we can prevent it if we all collectively gather around. We know that none of those people have had consequences about what they're doing right now. I mean, it's starting to kick in. I saw some things today. But in reality, it's slow go for those folks that they already hadn't had consequences in their own life, because almost every single one of them has committed crime. And not just little crime, big crimes, lying crimes, national security crimes, constitutional crimes, but even before that, before they even were in positions of power or, CEOs and whatnot. These people had numerous times where they crossed boundaries of people, of society, and they continue to push it. You know what they call that? As someone who used to be in social work, that worked with people with various degrees of mental health issues, including ASPD, which is antisocial personality disorder. Antisocial personality disorder. In nomenclature, it's called psychopathy. You know this. We know this. But how come this continues to build? Well, mind you, some of these people are born this way. So this is a very small percentage of human beings, and yet maybe, perhaps, a good chunk of them have all gotten to become CEOs or dictators, or would-be dictators, or authoritarians, or people in that ilk. So how do we prevent it? We start with our children and the people around us. If they've been disrespectful, we tell them that that's not okay, and we give them a consequence. Consequences used to be, and I'm not advocating for beating children, not at all. However, a little fear to certain children, a little bit of taking away their favorite toy, so to speak, will help this cause. I met somebody today who was talking about how she is in customer service, and somebody who was extremely rude to the other people at customer service for a mistake. The customer made a mistake. She was demanding things that were from the store, but her online order, was actually at a different store. Did she apologize? No. Did she get a consequence? Yeah, I guess, to go to the other store. But who has not told this woman that being rude is not appropriate? Now, mind you, we are a very interesting country right now, that we let people be disrespectful because of fear. We did this because, after a while, when you would maybe have that kid when you're little, and there would be fisticuffs going on. Now, obviously so, kids are afraid because guns come to school. So this is a layered problem, clearly. But the basics is, if you are an aware parent, you are teaching your kids respecting themselves and respecting others. You are also teaching other people, strangers, that if they are disrespectful or harmful or lying, cheating, that there is a consequence. It's either take away your attention from them, take away the toy that they want, and that's a metaphorical toy. Like, obviously with strangers, you might not know their intention. That's why personal development work or working on yourself or knowing what your needs are so you can kind of assume or make educated guesses on what other people's needs and desires are, so you're not trampled by them, as well as making sure that they're not like, it helps you understand the world around you. Like, when you understand somebody else's wants, needs, or desires, this is part of learning. This is very important, and it's not going to happen, unfortunately, on this little thing called the internet, specifically, because let's be honest, social structures and social norms and people yelling on the internet at strangers is not something that typically happens in person, but when it does, there's usually a consequence. Usually, not always, because fear, anxiety, maybe for the people that I've worked with and used to be somebody who was a people pleaser, an enabler, somebody who learned in order to survive their family system or in order to survive what they felt was a threatening environment, could be work, could be other things, you go along with the plan even though it's killing you inside. My assumption, or my educated being in the world for 48 years and being on life, is that it's not that far off of why we got to where we are now. And it's not because of like liberals or Republicans, or it's not because of any of that. It's literally because on even anybody's scale, they are either not going with their own internal guidance system. They might have a moral compass that is kind of like skewed. Like, yeah, yelling at your neighbor and calling them names is probably something that they forgot about, that they would get beaten or at least talked to by another adult in the room. And now we don't have discourse like the way we used to. Like, you could have a disagreement or an argument with somebody, or at least a passionate plea, or just like literally not have to agree on everything in order to respect another human being. Respect had gone out the window, partially because there's no real consequences for people that actually do really horrible things, like lie and cheat and steal and hurt other humans. And then somehow there was like an opening for disrespect and what have you. And I can't tell you when it started, because there was disrespect even in my childhood by adult men who were inappropriate with children like me. So it's not like an overnight thing that we're going to fix this, but consequences help prevent dictators and authoritarians. So the stronger your personal boundaries are, the stronger you are as to know what your values are, and also being able to stand up for somebody that might be more vulnerable, including a cashier, or including somebody who has a disability, or any sort of difference that is not typical. If you cannot stand up for another human being, you might be scared. Then you need to bone up on your own personal strength and resilience, because otherwise we're all going to a place in a handbasket, and I don't want to go there. I like it above ground. So I give an example. When I was in social work and I had many mental health clients that would start off, and sometimes occasionally during the elongated process of when we were working together, would be rude, would be disrespectful, they can have their feelings, because I'm not soft. I can handle their feelings if they need to get them and express them out. But when they were directed at me, I stopped that shit right away. You know why? Because people respect people that don't take shit. And there will be a consequence. You take something away from somebody that is important to them. For those clients that were disrespectful, I said, I don't have to work with you. If you want help, you got to treat me with respect. This is what it looks like. If you don't know how to do this, we're done. You don't give an inch to people that are going to take a yard. Learn consequences. Peace.